Hi, I'm Anatole. This is my review of Dark Season 1, Episode 9, titled Everything Is Now. It's scored 8.7 on IMDb. And this is the plot summary, courtesy of IMDb. Ulrich runs afoul of the law. Helga tries to dodge Egon Titleman. Claudia harnesses the cave's powers, and Katerina lashes out at Hannah. This episode was a bit convoluted.
But they can't be there. I changed all that. What did you change? The course of time.
Because it very plainly was divided into three sections. This first section was dealing with 1953, second section 1986, and then the third section 2019. And so we had, as a viewer, had to juggle three sets of characters. Yes, three sets of characters. I was thinking cast of characters. And it was a bit much. It was plainly presented, but for example, as I look back upon what happened, it's difficult for me to keep everything in mind. The most important thing for me was that Claudia now seems to be a very important character.
I have something that might just interest you. I want you to build this for me.
I'm looking for my character relationships picture that I have here that I always have to use. So Claudia, we saw a glimpse of her oldest iteration. I'm going to call it the 2019 iteration, but it's not quite clear that she has been living in the present, so to speak, because she tells her grandson Bartosz that to all intents and purposes she was dead. So there's and she has been time traveling, so there's every chance that she has been lost in time for a significant period, just like Mikhail was, and has aged up to the current day. For example, she may have from 1986 traveled back to 1953 and then aged forward for a number of years to 1986 maybe, and then jumped to 2019. You can see how confusing it's beginning to get. But so the one thing I'm wondering now is how many time traveling devices are there? How many groups are there trying to change time? Because a huge deal is made of the number 3. So we're seeing a diagram of the 3 intersecting parallelograms, not parallelograms, circles, the graph of the 3 intersecting vertices. Oh my God, you can tell I'm not a math major. But, and then a lot is made of the fact that there are the 3 time periods. So I'm beginning to think there are 3 different time traveling devices. There is the portal that exists because of the nuclear power plant, or that it exists in conjunction with the nuclear power plant. That's the one that we saw Ulrich and Jonas go through, and we've seen Mikhail go through. There's 3. Then there's the device that's made by the scientist H.G. Tannhaus, which Claudia and Jonas and Ulrich have all played a part. There's 3 again. Have all played a part in the creation of. And those are the forces who I'm going to say are the forces of good. They're the ones trying to write the time period back. So 2 of those traveled through the cave that are working with H.G. Tannhaus. Those 2 are Jonas and Ulrich. Claudia, we don't know how she's traveled. We can think that we can assume it's the cave, but again, this is where I'm thinking there are 3 different time traveling devices. The cave, the device made by H.G. Tannhaus, and then that contraption that Noah seems to be poking around about with. And then I say that there are 3 different people traveling through time. It's because when Bartosz goes to Noah after seeing his grandmother Claudia, who is traveling through time, he tells Noah and Claudia, I can't remember, I don't think she tells Bartosz that she's been traveling through time, but we know she's been traveling through time. But he tells Noah everything right after, immediately after seeing Claudia. that evening, the same evening, everything you've told me has come true. And so we can assume that Noah told Bartos that Claudia would be visiting him, his grandmother would be visiting him. So that implies that Noah is aware of the scheme that Claudia has. And Claudia's scheme, we can assume, is to change the mess that was made after Mikhail and Ulrich and Jonas have traveled through time. And so that's why I have the three groups. We have Mikhail, Ulrich, Jonas, who are all related. Then we've got the older person who I was guessing last episode is the older Jonas, Claudia, and maybe H.G. Tannhaus. And then in the third group of people trying to change time with a third device, Helga, Noah, and maybe Bartos. So that would make sense, 3 for each. And each set trying to undo the mess the set before made. And then so the final set I'm thinking is that Noah is trying to take advantage of all these other people who are meddling around with time to set it to the way he wants to for the final version, the one that can't be undone.
All of us who know the darkness long for the light of hope, but there is no God. God didn't make this hole among us. God doesn't have a plan.
And then I also wanted to comment upon some of the plot. So it seems like every teenager that falls in love on this show gets married. There is no puppy love except for Hannah. If you fall in love in high school in this town of Winden, you marry that person, and then somehow that relationship becomes very important to the goings-on of the town later on. It's just a bit much. And I say this because we see that Alexander is somewhat a criminal on the run who assumes a new identity. And then happenstance runs upon Regina just as she is being bullied by Katerina and Ulrich.
How could we know you were so fragile?
Because Hannah implied that Regina was the one that turned Ulrich into the police. But what if, as was pointed out by Mild Fuzz, what if Alexander is a time traveler and he knows that Regina is going to be important some way, so he was looking for her. He knew that moment was going to be important. Then it's not contrived. Then this thing about the assumed identity and being shot could all be part of the larger plot of the time jumping. If, however, it's not, he is just some random criminal that happened in upon Regina and became part of the fabric of the town, that's one crime too many. Because up till now, the blending of the crime and the science fiction was of a piece. The crimes of the children being murdered are connected to the science fiction of the time traveling. And the crimes of covering up the radiation is connected to the fact that the cave is a time traveling portal. All the crimes that were in the show somehow got connected to the science fiction element. Then we have Alexander, who is a thief, has been shot, and so he's on the run, and he holds a gun at Ulrich and Katerina. It's just from left field. It doesn't match the very tightly the tight theme of the two genres of science fiction and crime. It becomes a random element that they needed to use to get this character into the story. So that's a little sloppy. And then the fact that suddenly now we have the character of, I'm trying to get it before pausing and having to just cut and film again. The character of Hannah, who is suddenly now the vixen, the main villain of the piece.
No, not money. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to destroy Ulrich.
Doesn't make any sense. So Hannah just happens to be there when Alexander is burying his passport. Hannah somehow seems to be the character that knows the secrets of everyone. It's just a little too contrived to get the plot moving where the showrunners needed it to go. So I wasn't so fond of that. But so I guess that's it. I've kind of dealt with the mystery and the plot element of the show. There is more, but I'm happy, content to leave it there, and then come back after episode 10, and we can do our season wrap up. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed my review. Please leave your thoughts or give me a like if you enjoyed my review. And until next time, take care. Goodbye.